When I came, I thought I was speaking English because I learned English at junior high school. I thought I was able to speak most of the English, but when I arrived here, it was totally different. I couldn't get what people were saying. When I say a sentence, people will ask me, what did you say? So it was hard to communicate with people when I arrived here. I felt like I have to start over.
Cuando yo vine solamente hablaba español, no entendía el inglés. Cuando me decían hi, no sabía ni qué era, ni lo que significaba. Habían veces me daba miedo salir a la puerta.
If you don't speak English, you don't. It's not because you don't want it, it's because you can't. That's the reality, and I hear about this sometimes. People coming to this country have to speak English. I mean, I'm agree with that, but when you have a long time living in this country, but when you just come in, somebody has to teach you.
Many people get into trouble because they don't understand each other.
Y una barrera grande porque si uno necesita llamar a la policía, uno no puede porque no sabe el español, el inglés. O los bomberos no lo sabe tampoco, no sabe cómo explicar, cómo decirlo en inglés.
I think the immigrants feel they have less rights than the non-immigrants.
Y son una de las barreras que todavía continuamos acá en este país.
You think of it as a diverse city because it's the capital of this country, but also just inside DC you have about 500,000 people, 500,000 people who reside here and own businesses here and go to school here. And of that 500,000 people, we have approximately 70 to 80,000 who speak a language that's not English inside the home.
If you would have told me when I came on the job in 1989 that this city would look like it does today, I would have said, you're absolutely crazy. The city is going through changes on a daily basis.
So as more people come from other countries, we need to be prepared to be responsive to that community.
So in 2004, after many months of advocacy efforts from local advocates and residents here in the district, the DC Language Access Act was passed. And the crux of this legislation is to provide equal access to DC government services for limited and non-English proficient residents.
I think since the passage of the act, we've seen change, but certainly there is a whole lot more that we could be doing.
A big event for us was the coordination around the Mount Pleasant fire, which heavily impacted our Latino population here in the city.
The Mount Pleasant fire was chaotic. Emergencies by nature are. It happened in Ward 1, one of the wards here in Washington, D.C. that has a high Spanish-speaking population. The building that it happened at had a large resident population that were predominantly Spanish speakers.
Bueno, yo estaba acá con mi madre. Nosotros siempre escuchábamos los bomberos que llegaban a ese edificio, pero pensábamos que pues no era algo fuerte, ¿entiende? O algo como para uno salir corriendo. Siempre llegaban bomberos ahí. Y para mí, pues, escuchar a los bomberos llegar a ese edificio ya era normal.
Fue como a las 11:30, algo así de la noche, o 11. Nosotros medio que vale que no estábamos dormidos, estábamos medio quedándonos dormir cuando esa huella del incendio, porque las alarmas no servían también, nosotros pues.
Pero de repente yo me asomo y veo una lumbre en el basement. Era una luminosidad bien grande que había allí. Y de repente comenzó como a salir humo de todos los aires acondicionados. Yo dije, esto no es algo sencillo, o sea, esto es algo grave, ¿no?
Ya estaba bien prendido cuando andaban tocando las puertas allí, que estaba prendido el edificio y no creíamos todavía. Pero ya cuando prendimos las luces ya vimos que estaba lleno todo el apartamento de humo, ya nos miraba. Por eso fue que nosotros pues creímos de que estaba prendido el vidrio porque ahí las alarmas no sonaron nada.
It was one of our larger multiple alarm fires that we faced in the city that we really don't face a 5-alarm fire that often here. We're a pretty aggressive department. And the other challenge was being able to communicate with the residents who live in the building.
So how did they communicate? That was my first question. I was picturing how the moment would be of the fire, the firefighters communicating with the people in the building, trying to exit the building, whether those orders will be in English.
Mi madre acaba de tener una cirugía apenas ayer, o sea, fue el día del fuego, no ese día, que ella salió del hospital y yo no puedo bajarla.
Entonces nosotros buscamos a salir, ya estaba bloqueada una puerta de un vacío, quisimos salir al otro, pero luego abrieron los bomberos, explotaron la puerta, ya quedó abierto, entonces pudimos salir.
Los bomberos dijeron a tirar puertas y todo, de repente, y yo les dije que necesitaba ayuda, que me ayudaran a bajar a mi madre, no me hicieron caso.
We got a call out to assist Homeland Security to try and address the language barriers that were going on. So I came out with a couple of my officers.
Gracias a Dios subió este policía y le dije, mi madre, yo necesito ayuda con mi madre. Y vino él, ni lo pensó 2 veces el policía, me la sostuvo en sus brazos y bajó corriendo desde la 3ª planta, corriendo sobre las escaleras y mucha gente bajando, los bomberos subiendo y bajando.
It's the middle of the night, you're in pajamas, kids are crying, you don't know if everybody got out, and somebody comes up to you and they start giving you orders and telling you in English, you're gonna look at them and it's already stressful enough if they tell you in Spanish. Come in another language, you have no idea what they're saying to you. How good can that be?
Okay, is everyone out safely? We can do that now. We do it. Situation now.
We need help.
Lo perdimos todo.
We lost everything.
Esperando que se apagara el fuego, que pensamos nosotros que iba a ser un juego así, que no iba a seguir más. Pero el resultado que ahí quedamos en la calle, porque como ya no pudimos entrar ya nos dejaron entrar tampoco. Y ya todo estaba ya cajón, ya sin nada ya.
Many of these residents will be staying in shelters provided by the Red Cross. Others are going to be staying with friends, but all of those that I spoke to absolutely stunned and amazed and grateful to be alive.
Following the police and fire responding to the event, then we go through the process of, okay, now what do it takes for us to recover?
The Red Cross was a big part of it, also helping out along with other non-governmental agencies such as Metro providing Metro buses.
This morning, translators made lists of lost belongings for the predominantly Hispanic tenants who live at this Mount Pleasant Street apartment building, their homes now devastated by fire.
By the time I got there, the fire had been going on for approximately 12 hours or better, and people were very upset.
Era algo tan grande y me sentí confundida.
Pues entonces perdimos un poco el pensamiento, pues algo desorientado por largo tiempo.
Se me olvidó todo. Yo creo que hasta mi propio idioma se me olvidó. Mucho menos el inglés.
When you have an emergency like that and you see your building on fire, such as in Mount Pleasant, and I can only imagine what was going through their minds, you know, and you're thinking, hey, I'm losing everything, and I don't understand what's going on. This guy is talking to me, and I don't understand what he's saying.
A lot of individuals didn't speak English, so we were in need, like the people that were there, the EMS, the fire department, were really in need of searching for bilingual individuals because they were like, you know, we need to get their information. They needed to find out like what apartment they were staying, what type of belongings did they have.
Well, I was pretty sure about the language barrier right off the bat because of the area that we were going to. So I requested one of my fellow workers to come with me since he was a Spanish teacher. We went in and set up a service center, and we assisted them with the emergency food and sheltering.
There were so many different agencies involved, from police to the fire department to the Department of Human Services to the tenant advocate, providing housing, providing vouchers for hotels, and then finding other housing, talking to the schools where the kids, all the families that had kids that were affected, we went to the schools and let them know. So it was really an intensive interagency task that went on for a very long time.
After that incident, we did have a post-incident critique. After the event, you know, what went well? Was there anything that we need to improve upon?
It highlighted the need for effective language access plans to be in place within those agencies so that they can anticipate wherever a fire in a particular emergency is within the city, to really go down to the nitty-gritty and know what that population looks like, know what kind of language personnel they have to have on staff, know what type of language they need to have their vital documents translated into to be able to provide basic needs to those residents or anyone affected by an emergency.
The needs are tremendous, and there are a number of vulnerable populations, but many people don't realize how vulnerable they are until something actually happens. And so we use these as learning opportunities for our teams, but we also use them as opportunities to educate the community about ways that they can, if in fact something happens, be much more prepared.
So we are right now very excited that we are moving our agency to a point where there's a lot of engagement and participation with our residents and businesses to be a part of our response.
We're going to thank everybody, all the appropriate partners.
So we're going to leverage those opportunities to do further outreach to these specific communities in Spanish, in French, in Amharic, and so on.
Ahora bien, siempre hay que estar preparado. Ese es el mensaje que queremos informarles. Y la primera, por supuesto, es mantenerse informado.
Aparte de eso, las personas que no hablamos inglés, es muy importante que dentro de los artículos de primera necesidad, en caso de emergencia, tomemos una de estas tarjetas. Esta tarjeta lo que significa es la Ley de Acceso Lingüístico en el Distrito de Columbia. Lo que quiere decir esto es de que usted puede llamar especialmente al Departamento de Emergencia 911. En un lado dice I speak Spanish y del otro lado dice yo hablo español. Por ley, si ellos no hablan su idioma, ellos tienen la obligación de buscar una persona intérprete que pueda escuchar y traducir lo que usted está diciendo.
Many of these communities don't regularly access law enforcement. They don't call the police, they don't report crimes, they don't access government services, they're not aware of these things. And that's due to a number of reasons, either cultural or language barriers.
When I tell people that they are able to call an agency up or call the police and be able to get interpretation in their language and speak their language, you know, instead of having to, you know, piece together English words to get a point across, they are really surprised. They wonder if it's true, if it's actually going to happen.
In the case of the Metropolitan Police Department, the way I view it is that the department is responsible for trying to ensure that limited English proficient persons who work in the city, live in the city, or visit the city have as much access to this department's services as would an English-speaking person.
A big piece of the work is community education. We can't expect people to assert their rights if they don't know about them. And so that's a huge part of it. And I also think that to the extent the government agencies themselves can be involved in that community outreach, I hope it would at least begin to solve some of these problems of trust or fear.
The department realized that these are real issues for each of these independent communities, and oftentimes the patrol services don't have the time or the skills to engage that community. And so these liaison units were created to provide that time and provide that bridge between law enforcement and the Latino, the gay, the Asian, and the deaf and hard of hearing community here in DC.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You're going to be 6151. We hold the response to 3D for community outreach. Also, I'm going to be monitoring 3D at this time.
For my unit, we conduct the outreach throughout the whole city. We visiting the business, provide them safety tip, robbery prevention, burglary prevention. We also give our agent liaison card, information card. It provides the address, telephone number, how to outreach, contact us back. Because our job is to provide our police service to the community.
Okay, bye.
Our mission is to serve all people. So in order to serve everybody, we have to communicate, meaning to provide and locate the interpreter for them to complete our mission.
In order to have a thriving city, we need to have a government that listens to the residents that live here and residents that are empowered to be able to speak to elected officials about the services that they need and what would make it actually possible for them to access these services.
What we're hoping to do here in the city is to better understand the different languages that we do see here, the different cultures that have become a part of the overall fabric of the city, and provide the type of support to those communities that's critical to ensure that they feel welcome, to ensure that they have everything that they need, and to ensure that we're able to effectively understand what it is that is being expressed as a need so that we can be most responsive.
Our job is to provide faster and efficient services, and to be able to do that, we have to have the tools that are available.
That's a big goal and big issue, trying to break that barrier down and make sure that people have access to all the same services that everyone else does. And it makes our job easier.
I think a part of this culture shift really is just this recognition that the community is better off by fully including limited English proficient individuals, and that government services can actually operate better if those people are served properly as well.
No matter where you're from, we are all the same people. Even though we speak different languages, we're supposed to be treated equal no matter where we go to.